Hello my friends and welcome to my channel. The subject of today is how to get unstuck. So stay with me because first I want to give you a bit of an overview about these series of videos that are coming up. I want to share with you one tip per video. I want to give you the opportunity to understand the concept, but I also want you to give yourself the gift of actually trying it out, creating a space and an environment where you can experiment and try it for yourself. Because look, the biggest problem that I see today, and this is where most of my clients start when they come into my world, is that they are stuck. They hit a glass ceiling again and again and again, trying to change things, be that their personal health, their business outcomes, their relationships, their own relationship with themselves, their parenthood. There is something that is stopping them all the time, and there's a story that is created around it. And that story makes you feel as if you're stuck, because you're trying different things, you're accumulating knowledge and information, but nothing really changes. And the reality is that change is not something that just happens on its own. There's an entire process that you need to follow in order to make it from an idea, from something that maybe intellectually you understand, to something that you can actually implement, follow through, commit to, and see the changes at the pace that they show up. So today, the subject of the video is how to get unstuck. But I will not share with you, the 5 tips to getting unstuck, or, the 10 things you shouldn't do, or the 15 mistakes of blah, 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 blah. This is more of an online marketer approach because for most of you, this is what you search. You go on the internet and you search how to get unstuck, right? This is how you may have got to see this video. But here's what I've learned. As much as this is the type of information we think we're looking for, and content creators are the ones who will create that type of content, I understood something very early on my journey when I was confronted with, near-death experiences and recovering from an elective amputation, or recovering from my heart attack, or making substantial changes in my life whereby I chose to change careers, right? Or leave a previous marriage and create a new life for myself and my family. These are fundamental changes in life that don't just happen overnight because you read the 5 tips on how to get unstuck. There is a process that you need to go through, and you need to understand how to address this. And this is why, my friends, these videos will be produced and will show you one tip at a time. It will be a series, so you'll need to kind of keep your eye open on the next videos that are going to come up, or if you want to be notified, the best thing is to subscribe to the channel, or in the description of the video, there's a link where you can actually sign up for email notifications. When new episodes come up online, you can get a notification and watch them, and everything will be, I hope, again, will be very organized on the channel so you can see them under specific subjects. So today's goal is really to help you to start and understand how to get unstuck. Because when we're stuck, it feels like we're treading through mud. It feels like molasses. There is so much resistance to try something new. Why? Because our experience with what we have tried that hasn't helped us created this heaviness around us where we just tired, exhausted, depressed. I tried so many things and nothing really worked. I just don't want to do it again. And I totally understand where you are, because this is the place where change can actually begin. This is where if you plant the right seed and if you cultivate it in the right way, the way I'm going to show you over the next few videos here, you will definitely start to see how your energy will shift. Your perspective about where you are and what you can do will shift. And this is the fundamental piece that I have learned over time, that it's not about the knowledge. We are, as I said before, in the information age. Knowledge is cheap, my friend. You can find it anywhere. The problem is to understand it appropriately, not just logically, and then implement it. Why? Because you have a story right now in your head about everything in your life. You create a story in your life in order to make sure that where you are right now is somewhat acceptable for you. Even if it's not where you want to be, you will have a story about blaming something or someone else, shaming yourself for not being good enough or trying hard enough. Whatever dialogue goes on inside this crazy box that we carry all day long is something that we need to really address. So the first step to getting unstuck is this: clarity. This is step number one. You may have not expected this to be the first step because maybe you wanted, the 5 tips on how to break through getting unstuck and something fundamental and life-changing. But I can tell you this: for most of us, lack of clarity creates overwhelm, creates confusion. There is almost like a stagnation of our mind when all our thoughts are running in our head all the time. You go to bed with them. You wake up in the middle of the night occupied by these thoughts. You carry them everywhere you go. There is no way you can actually create change. There is actually no way you can actually get unstuck, because that process alone keeps you stuck all the time. It's this spiral that you're in. It's a vortex that is so powerful. It creates a storm in your mind. And if you cannot find quiet, one-pointedness, and understand where you're at and where you want to go, all these efforts, my friends, will be futile. It's just the reality of how we are wired. So when you start to understand that, you will start to see that the first step on this journey is to get clarity. And what do I mean by clarity? Clarity is really the definition of what it is that you want to experience. Because look, everything that we do in life, every act, every action, every goal we set to ourselves in our personal life, with our health, with our businesses, with our partners, with our children, whatever the case may be, the reason why we put that goal up there is because we want to experience something. We want to experience a feeling of happiness, a feeling of being content, a feeling of being connected, a feeling of being loved and being able to love, a feeling of receiving something or giving something, right? A feeling of status, a feeling of being seen, being heard, being acknowledged. That is what we're actually after. We're after the experience. The goal is kind of the vehicle. It's the roadmap that will get us, hopefully, to feel that, to experience that. But if we don't have clarity about the process, it's kind of a dead end. Because we will try to layer one idea over the other and one goal over the next, and then we cannot commit to something, and we cannot actually be single-minded, focused on getting to where we want to go, because we don't know what it is. This is why, my friend, clarity is the first point. Now, the second point, which I will talk about in the next video, so keep an eye on that, search it, or if you subscribe, you will get a notification via email or through the channel. But the second step is actually understanding what type of attitude you need to create in your life in order to break through these glass ceilings, in order to start the process of getting unstuck. Now, I'm not a big believer in the word stuck, because you're not really stuck. You're just confused. You're overwhelmed. You are inundated with thoughts that can drive you crazy. And until you quiet them down, you cannot see a clear path in front of you. This is why the first exercise I want you to do is a brain dump, okay? And in this video, I will talk to you about how to do the brain dump. I'll give you some resources for that, and I want you to experience it for yourself, because this is the big part around this entire journey. I want you to give yourself the opportunity to do the work. Experience it for yourself. Because when you listen to YouTube videos and blogs and whatever you watch and get your information from, you may understand it intellectually. It will land somewhere, but it will land in a chaotic mind. Therefore, you cannot implement. So my suggestion is focused on one thing at a time. Try it, experiment with it, and share with us here on the channel, in the comments. What are you trying to do? What's your experience? And any questions that you may have, because this is a conversation between us. And I want it to be such that I share with you things that have worked for me, worked for my clients, where I see other people challenged and how they get through it and break through, because sometimes I may see a path in one way, and when they try it, they actually make adjustments on their own and create their own path, which is amazing. And then I learn from them other ideas on how to do this. So this is the intention of this series. Now, to gain clarity, as I said, the first exercise is a brain dump. Below this video, there will be a link to a resource, which is kind of a trigger list. Because what I want you to do is I want you to take a piece of paper. I don't want you to do it on a computer, because I want you to have the connection between, mind, hand, paper, and pen. It works differently. You can translate that afterwards to, a Google Doc or a Word doc or whatever and have it on your computer. But initially, I want you to do this exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down everything that you can think about. There is no right way or wrong way to do it. There is no particular order that you should follow through, but you should do this dump of everything in your head. And the trigger list is quite extensive. It's about pretty much, I wouldn't say everything, but most areas of your life that you are concerned with and thoughts are going around, from groceries to to-dos to activities to events to things that you want to read, whatever the case may be. You will see that list. I really encourage you to use the list as a trigger for the brain dump, because that'll give you a connection and kind of start to see, okay, in the area of family, in the area of health, in the area of relationships, in the area of business, in the area of, day-to-day life, here are things that I carry in my head all the time. So drop them, dump them on the paper. And this is the first step, right? I want you to do that exercise first. And then in the next video, I will share with you how to address that list, okay? That will be a brilliant way to start, because all of a sudden you'll see either you have an insane amount of craziness in your mind and you'll see 1,000 items on this paper, or you will see what most of us see. There's a list of anywhere between 50 to 100, I don't know, maybe 120 items. But you think that you do have 10,000 in your head. And by just getting this brain dump on paper, you will start to see that there is a path that can be created to deal with that insanity. And within this process, there is a way for you to get unstuck. Because as I said, what we need is first to calm down the mind, stop the insanity that goes on in here, and then we can start and see and create clarity and create a path on which we can walk and achieve our goals and be very, very focused and intentional about. All right? Okay, my friends, watch for the next video. If you like these type of videos, subscribe, share, and also there's a link there if you want to subscribe to the email list to get these notifications through your email. All right? I'll see you next time.